What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about if Injustice 3 will be announced in 2021. So this would not be a series talking about games that are rumored, are kind of fantasies, are guaranteed. Wouldn't be a kind of list and wouldn't be kind of series if I didn't mention Injustice. I asked you guys what kind of games you want to see, and it was kind of, especially on Twitter, it was a resounding Injustice 3. You guys want me to talk about Injustice 3 and the possibilities of it, so I'm going to do that in this video. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. If you haven't followed our Twitch channel yet, link for it is in the description below. We try to live stream over there around 3 to 4 times a week, actually, so there's plenty of content over there as well as a weekly live stream on this channel. If you guys did not know that, now you do. Now that that's all over with, I think, and the way I titled it, by the way, I said, will it be announced? I do not think, I will make the bold prediction, I do not think the game comes out in 2021. Now, there were rumors back in the, before we knew Gotham Knights was called Gotham Knights age, right, where there was a group of rumors that said Injustice 3 wouldn't come out till 2022. And there was a lot of other stuff. There was talks of the DLC characters for it, that like John Wick or whatever would be part of the deal. There was some weird stuff. And, you know, at the time I said, I really don't believe that. How could they already have kind of guest characters planned out to be in a game that the game's not even out yet, and then you're gonna talk about DLC before the game is even talked about. So it just seemed weird to me. But the release date seemed more plausible. Now, I'm not going to give credit to that leaker, whoever that was, or the group of people that said it, because I really don't think it takes that much brain power to come up with that. Honestly, you know, I mean, I get it. I get that people want it in 2021. NetherRealm has done the every other year. I believe for the last decade, for the last 10 years, they've done 5 games. They've done a game every other year. This would be this upcoming May, this upcoming April. I think the last 2 have come out like around the springtime. You know, they always come out every 2 years. Mortal Kombat came out 2 years ago. You know, I think that was April or May of 2019. So it's been 2 years. It's about to be 2 years. And I mean, what you're seeing is, well, there's a lot of things changing in the gaming industry if you guys didn't notice. But what's interesting is even like a game like Mortal Kombat kind of taking advantage of it, where you see them just continuing to add more and more and more characters. Now, I don't think it takes the most work. I'm not saying like it takes zero work, but I don't think it takes a full team to come up with the characters that they're doing. I get there's the all of these different passes that come with the characters. I get that there's like all of these different editions of the game, right? There was like the whatever edition came out this year that was even nominated for like a Game of the Year thing. Like, obviously they're still supporting it, but at the same time, they're working on the next thing, okay? So the question is, are they willing, or is it like, not even willing, like, is it ready to come out in 2021? I mean, I think it could be. I think, honestly, the fall would make the most sense. I really just don't think we're going to get the game in the springtime. So the reason I said, will it be announced in 2021 is simply because I think that is what has the most possibility to happen. I do think, and I will say that, I do think Injustice 3 gets announced in 2021. Another thing to remember, too, is whether or not there's a DC fandom, Warner Bros. Has an amazing 2021. They're publishing Back 4 Blood, right, the Turtle Rock game, the Left 4 Dead clone, which is not a bad thing, by the way, because it's basically the Left 4 Dead 3 we'll never get. They're publishing that. We also have the Lego Star Wars saga, right? So and by the way, don't sleep on that, because that's a pretty big thing. We have tiny indie, like independent kind of projects by them called Gotham Knights and Hogwarts Legacy, if you guys haven't heard of them. So we have a couple things that are coming out in 2021. And honestly, no, they're all huge. They're all really, really big things. And, you have Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which is 2022. Again, whether or not there is a DC fan, if there is a DC fandom, I would honestly expect similar to what we got this year, where maybe we get more info on Suicide Squad. We get more DC stuff, which would, by the way, be Injustice. If it's an E3, if they do some sort of E3 presentation, which I would love them to do, by the way, they could do everything. They could do Hogwarts Legacy and even more. But I do think in some way Injustice 3 would be, and don't forget, the last Mortal Kombat was announced at the Game Awards, whatever year that was, the December of 2018, so 2 years ago. So, even if they don't announce it all of next year and they announce it at the Game Awards, that still technically counts as 2021. I think we are getting closer. I do think as time's gone on, I just think, making a game every 2 years is tough. I don't know how they've done it so far. I really don't. And there's a couple of studios, actually, or like publishers and even developers out there that have managed to do something similar to what they've done, but they're very few and very far in between, okay? It's very difficult to do stuff like that. So I do applaud them for making these games very consistently, and also, by the way, making them very, very good. But I do think 2021 is the year that we finally get to see the game. I think it'll continue to add to the just excitement for DC games in general with Gotham Knights, with Suicide Squad, with whatever comes after Gotham Knights. I mean, we've talked about it a little bit. I could see the second Warner Bros. Montreal game being announced once Gotham Knights is finished. If there's DLC, maybe after that, or like a season pass after that's done. But you know what I mean. I think 2021 is going to be absolutely enormous, and I think it's, if you announce Injustice 3 in the spring, is it possible to come out in the fall? I do think so. With that being said, just what's happened this year, you kind of got to account for like every game, literally every game has probably been delayed at least a little bit. Maybe 2 months, maybe 4 months, maybe 6 months. But I think every single game, probably on planet Earth, has been pushed in some way in 2020. Some of them for different reasons, like you look at Cyberpunk as a specific reason, but I think largely because of what's happened. I mean, going to work from home slowed down literally everybody. Not doing motion capture stuff for any game that has to do with motion capture slowed them down slowed them down by 3 or 4 months, okay? Now, maybe they could do other stuff in that time, right? But it slowed them down no matter what. So, I would like to say we could maybe be very optimistic and say the game comes out fall of 2021. I just think because of what's happened this year, you kind of just have to give them a little bit more time. I would also say because even though it's minor support, it still is support on the newest Mortal Kombat game. And because of that, maybe that slows them down as well. And I will say this, the final thing I'll say, that is kind of good news for Injustice, because when Injustice 3 comes out, we should probably expect enormous support for this game. I mean, literally look at it. Mortal Kombat is still getting characters, still getting just things in general, and we're almost at 2 years the game's been out. So now imagine Injustice. When we do get Injustice 3, we'll probably get, I would say, at least a full year of support of the game, of DLC, of all of this different stuff, and that is honestly very, very exciting. I would kind of prefer you just put the game out and then move on to the next thing, but let me say, just to kind of cover my back here, for games like this, I do completely get it. I think there's enormous potential and possibility for these kind of fighting games where it's like, hey, you make the game, it comes out, and a year and a half later, you're still putting out characters, some characters that were heavily requested, and if you just moved on to a new game, you would never get to that character, but now you can. Now, maybe they're not as maybe they don't have, like, the story that the other characters have. You don't get to see them in it, but you get to play as them, and they have insanely unique skill sets or move sets, right? And it's amazing. And so I do applaud them, honestly. I'm really impressed with what they've done with Mortal Kombat, and I can't wait to see them most likely, and I would say most definitely, do it for Injustice. So, guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Do you think this game is going to be announced in 2021? Do you think the game will come out in 2021? Let me know. Again, is there any other games you want me to cover? I'm talking about games that could be rumored. I'm talking about games that could be like wild fantasies. I'm talking about games that are coming out in 2021 that maybe we just want to talk about, like their status going into the year. All of those kind of things I do want to make videos of over the next 2, 3, 4 weeks on this channel. It's going to be a blast. I'm having so much fun doing it already. So let me know in the comments. Again, as always, make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on. If you guys want to join our Twitch or follow our Twitch, link is in the description, along with all my other stuff as well. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I truly appreciate it. Hopefully 2021 is the year that we can start doing tons of Injustice 3 content on the channel. I think it will be, and I hope to see you guys there.